Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hope and I am here with the messages you need to hear today. Today I felt really compelled to make 3 piles to choose from, which is a style of reading I don't normally do, but the compulsion was so strong and I gotta listen to it. So today's question is, can I trust this person or persons? So we have 3 piles to choose from. I will flash an image up on screen for y'all to pick from, and we'll get right into the messages. All right, welcome pile 1. We are going to start by picking some runes, and then we will flip over the cards I've already laid down for you. So, can pile 1 trust this person or these people? Are these people or this person trustworthy or a trustworthy person for pile 1? I am feeling Tursas, Raido, and Ejas. Okay. Okay. I can kind of see why maybe you might have been curious about this person, but I feel like this person is very honest, and at the same time they are kind of resistant to conflict or confrontation. I think this person tends to bottle up their emotions, but I think it kind of is shocking or surprising whenever they come out with a truth. Kind of like, I'm getting this feeling like they it's sort of the effect of dynamics in music. If you're familiar with composition or whatever, there's a term called dynamics, which is essentially when you're adding decrescendo or crescendo, where at a certain point the music will get really, really quiet and build up some kind of intensity, and then it'll get really loud, and that's crescendo. So I feel like this person is in kind of their normal state of being is that decrescendo, where they are more of a muted or sort of not wanting to create more tension or, poke the bear any more than they have to. Because I feel honestly like this person has a lot of emotions deep down inside that maybe they're not dealing with, or they just energetically don't have enough strength or stamina really to deal. So whenever this person does come out and say something, it's so intense compared to what their normal energy is. So I kind of can understand why you would be asking about this person, just because maybe that energy seems possibly manipulative. And I will say, to a certain degree, like, you are manipulating a situation so that you don't have to expend more like emotional or just spiritual energy dealing with something that you probably well enough could have just ignored or let slide. So that's kind of what I'm feeling from this person. They like to just keep things moving, and they're not super all about conflict. However, I think when there is like a boundary crossed that's just too much, too far, it might feel like this person will just like chop your head off with verbally almost chop your fucking head off. So let's pull some other cards. But I mean, in the sense, like, if you're worried if this person is a liar, I don't think so. I think this person would, if anything, lie by omission. They just won't even go there. They won't, they just don't want to give anybody fuel or ammo or whatever, I think. But it's like a heavy emphasis on exhaustion. Like, they just don't have the energy to expend on that. I think that there's probably, I mean, everybody has a past, everybody has history. So I feel like this person has a history of just being emotionally drained in a situation, like whether it was like a group of people. It could, honestly, I see that it could be like a group dynamic for them in the past. Maybe it was family, maybe it was like friends in college or something, where it's almost like a domino effect of just people getting in their feelings, or maybe egotistical or unhealed people reacting or overreacting, or, you know, I think this person sort of learned a lesson around feeding negative situations too much energy, so they just really don't want to do that anymore. They don't really want to participate when they see that there's conflict. I think that this person just wants to move away rather than punch it out. You know what I mean? So honestly, I think it can feel kind of brutal when this person does use their voice and they do say their truth and they do put down a hard boundary and they rejecting conflict or like drama hungry people. So as long as you're not, you know, like a toxic, low vibrational Libra that just sort of feeds off of gossip and drama and discussing other people's drama and problems and whatever, and like, you know, you'll probably get along well with this person. I think this person definitely waits until it is just an absolute fact that there's no hope or that it's just time to move on. That's what I keep hearing. So the next cards we have are the Temperance, the Two of Swords, and the Ten of Swords, all upright. Honestly, I think this person is pretty fair, pretty well balanced. Like I said, like they've come from a situation where they had to learn a lesson, and lesson learning they did indeed. This person prefers peace. They don't really want violence. I don't think this person is passive aggressive in any way. I think if you ever did get your feelings hurt by this person or rubbed the wrong way, I don't think that they said what they said with the intention of, I'm going to make so-and-so have a bad day or feel bad. Like I said, it's like if they're saying something to them, you need to know that there's at least like 15 or 25 things that they aren't saying, like that they're just choosing to ignore or move beyond. So when they are really like saying something to them, it's completely necessary. I don't feel like this person is going out of their way to spread poison. So I do feel, however, with the Two of Swords here, that I feel like this person, it mostly exists in their inner world, and so maybe they aren't as social. as you are accustomed to people being, so more like an introvert. But at the same time, I feel like they might have a very different kind of way they present themselves out on the outside versus how they are or feel on the inside. So I kind of, everybody sort of memes on cat colors, especially orange cats, how orange cats are kind of like wild or dopey or kind of silly and hyper and crazy. And I feel like this person has this side to them, but you really only see it when this person feels like completely safe and comfortable. They're really picky and choosy about who they let this side out with. And I get, honestly, I heard in my head, it's sort of like they don't deserve it. So I think maybe this person is secretly really warm. Like I'm seeing Leo, like sun. So they're very generous and loving, maybe even loving to a point of being a little overbearing. And because their love is so precious and valuable to them, they're not just gonna give it out and have it be rejected all the time. They understand it's a gift. So honestly, I feel like this person has a high self-esteem. I think this person trusts their intuition. They trust when they're feeling a vibe off a situation that it's just not going to be worth putting any energy into. They're pretty good about listening to that intuition and like just cutting it off or leaving it alone. Although I will say that maybe this person has a tendency to possibly overthink. But I just keep getting this energy of patience. I think this person is, as much as they have like boundaries and they're willing to like speak up or stop something in its tracks. I feel like this person is actually really patient and tolerating. Traditionally, I mean, and honestly, in this card too, the cat has its eyes closed. So I almost get this, like I'm hearing love is blind. I'm not saying this is romantic or anything, but love is blind in the sense that this person isn't judging you by the clothes you wear or how much money you make or what kind of car you drive or even your own personal interests and hobbies. They're not judging you on that. I think this person just really connects with what's going on in the internal world. So like basically what's your soul? Who are you as a person? How, yeah, that kind of thing. So I think this person's like really deep, and maybe that's kind of like a surprise to you because it could seem, like I said in the beginning, decrescendo, like very muted, possibly. They maybe mute their energy a lot, but I almost get the feeling that this is just sort of like a protective cloak of incognito. So, with this Ten of Swords upright, this is sort of giving me more of like a history. Like I was explaining on the top row with this Five of Cups reversed. This person has been caught up with drama and conflict and ended up with 10 swords in their back, having themselves stuck, almost energetically stuck or weighed down by, honestly, situations that were intended to wipe them out, take them out the game, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think it just gives more context to why this person behaves the way they are, what makes them trustworthy or not trustworthy. And of course, you have to just understand, like, sometimes you're just not compatible with somebody. I almost said combat. So, I mean, this person doesn't favor combat, but they're also not afraid to, like I said, cut somebody's head off with the sword of truth. That maybe their words can be harsh sometimes and just carry more weight because they don't get loud too often or something. Even though it's like you can tell that there is this energy, like that they are maybe kind of quirky, silly, fun, and has an outgoing side. But it could also just be like the environment that you know this person from is an environment that they use their intuition to just be like, this isn't safe. Or again, like it just takes them some time to really open up or feel comfortable or want to show other sides of themselves. So let us pull the final row of cards here at the bottom. Okay. So it's so interesting because we have the Five of Wands reversed and then we have the Five of Swords reversed. So I feel like this person is not a competitive person at all. I think if anything, it's like could be a trigger for them if they think or they see or they realize that somebody or a group of people are trying to compete with them. I think it aggravates them because there's more than enough room at the top for everyone. It's this like combat thing. This person they do not fight. They don't like to get their hands dirty. They don't get adrenaline or self-worth from like kicking people down to the bottom of the pyramid. There's no satisfaction in that for them. Maybe, like I said, this person could kind of have a bit of smoke and mirrors on the outside that you just can't see them very clearly, and they're doing it on purpose, and in their opinion, like it's none of your business, for you to be invasive or prying or digging into this person, because they're just minding their business. Honestly, this person is just literally the essence of minding my business, being regular as fuck, no combat, no drama fiend, whatever. Just somebody who listens to their intuition and moves in the right direction. So I see the Devil card upright and the Seven of Swords upright. Especially with the Devil upright, I feel like this person is like, I get the feeling this person really has a past, and unlike a lot of other people, I feel like this person genuinely was trying to learn and heal and grow from the past. Like, it's really giving me this context of codependency, like toxically entwined with people who are like energy vampires, who just want to fight, who almost can't be quiet with themselves. They have to constantly be like interacting with or gossiping or whatever about other people. Like they just can't leave anything alone. So I feel like, especially with the Seven of Swords, they've dealt with people who just slandered the ever-living shit out of their name, just made up stuff. Because honestly, this seems like the kind of person, they have all this sort of smoke and mirrors and like a cloak, a muted energy on the outside. And I think sometimes it can attract energy from other people to just want to make up backstory for this person, or make up lore about this person, even though they don't know this person, because this person doesn't really, this person is so incredibly choosy and picky with who they open up with. So if you ever felt like, oh, I don't know if I could trust this person or not because of what other people were saying about this person, honestly, the people you should be worried about being trustworthy are the ones who are talking about this person. They are more than likely making things up, or maybe they eavesdropped, or they heard something, or they snooped and they took it completely out of context, or they twisted it and exaggerated it and ran with it and wrote a whole fucking novel about it. Like, I honestly feel like this is the kind of person who just knows how toxic people can be, and they have come up with this strategy for how to just live their life and, you know, cope with a metaphorical death in the past and heal and rebirth themselves. And yeah, emphasis on heal and just being balanced, because this person has a very like two-sided or double nature to them. Like, I'm here in right time and place. This person just knows the right time and place to be whatever, whether they're their hyper outgoing self or just more introverted. Although I think this person in general just has a very developed internal world. So I imagine that if you are somebody who can't sit still in quiet, can't like enjoy life without talking about other people or other people's lives, then I don't think you're going to like this person, or they're probably not going to like you, but more than likely they won't do anything unless you really give them a reason. And I'm telling you that this person is intuitive, they're powerful, they've been through shit before, and I mean, with Tursas, like, they will knock somebody's ego onto the floor without even flinching. So this has been your message, Pile 1. I hope it was useful. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this video to anyone you think it would help, and I will see y'all next week. Bye. All right, welcome, Pile 2. This is your reading. We're going to start by pulling some runes, and then I will flip over all the cards I've pulled. So what message? Or wait, I almost went into my old habit. Can Pile 2 trust this person or these people? Are these people or this person trustworthy, worthy of trust from Pile 2? All right. First rune, we have Raido. Second rune, Manas. Third rune, Erus. Urus. Okay. Can Pile 2 trust this person or these people? I don't know. I don't know. I will say it's not an immediate absolute no. Obviously, everybody's got complexities. This person strikes me as somebody who is spiritual or kind of interested in spiritual things, or maybe they might identify as a person who's on a spiritual journey. But I see that they are a mortal man who is a finite being prone to making mistakes. And it seems like they tend to lose the battle with their ego more often than not. You know, it seems like this person is somehow disconnected from their inner fire, their spiritual strength. Really, that's definitely it. So pull some of these other cards. This one's not as clear as pile 1. So, and that's definitely something I feel with the High Priestess. Even though she is in the upright position, I think that this person is not so clear. Like, honestly, it could be somebody who identifies as a spiritual person, but maybe they haven't fully committed to or made a decision of what path they are going down. And I mean that as like left-hand path or right-hand path, as in aligning with the good of all versus aligning with self above all. So it seems like this person is probably just safer than not to say they aren't really so trustworthy, just because they probably just don't even really trust themselves that much. It seems like they tend to lose battles with themselves. Maybe they're prone to bouts of insecurity and then also like egotism. But honestly, there seems to be a disconnect from them and their power. But they might be intuitive or a little psychic. They might have been born with some amount of psychic ability, so it would mean possibly in their past life they were aligned enough to grow that enough to be born in their next life inherently with it, but they might kind of be in a bit of a spiritual battle of whether they get to maintain that or not. So this might be not the most reliable person. They certainly have a different perspective. So let me just flip over these other cards here. Well, I feel like they are still progressing. And of course, it is a spiritual journey in the sense that it is a winding road, and maybe sometimes you have to take a detour or backtrack a little bit to go a different way. This person is just living their life, Probably I feel like this person is in a little bit of an in-between moment. In between maybe wanting to make a shift somewhere. Like they're in a planning phase. They're in a planning phase. Maybe they're trying to leave somewhere, but it's not the right time to do so, but they're still getting hit with inspiration or sort of urges from their spirit guides to move in a certain direction. But I also kind of feel like something holds them back from actually working on what they want or going and getting what they desire, especially material things. Maybe this person is more preoccupied with entertaining themselves and sort of waiting around, maybe like a bit of a toxic feminine energy that they just kind of are waiting maybe they're saying they're planning, but maybe that planning is just a cover for procrastination because they're not actually really sure where they want to go or what they want to do. Maybe there's a certain amount of acceptance that they need to cultivate because they might be struggling with a bit of avoidance. Yeah, I feel, it could also be that this person feels like they absolutely have to just do everything completely by themselves and that they aren't allowed to depend on other people, or like they can't take an apprenticeship, they can't collaborate, they can't take criticism or something like that. I feel like they are sort of blocking themselves in a lot of ways. Despite there being multiple cards here insinuating a journey or movement, motion, or transportation, I feel like right now the only kind of transportation this person is doing is like in dream time, like they're sleeping and they're astral projecting and they're going places in their dreams, they're doing things in their actual sleeping dream time, but then they just sort of wake up and I don't know, it's like they just sort of hoard all of this inspiration, but they are like blocked from taking action on it or moving in that direction. So, can pile 2 trust this person or these people? I would say if you are trying to rely on this person to do an action for you, I wouldn't trust them that they would do it. I just feel like this person is kind of distracted. This gives me sort of ADHD vibes where you can't really focus on anything other than what they are entertained by, or you know, whatever has like caught their attention. They can't really look or focus or commit to anything outside of that. As this seems, like I said, like feminine energy where they just sort of are waiting for whatever project, just like the ball to already be moving before they start to chase after it or, you know, start writing it. Honestly, I think this pile just seems somewhat immature to me, but it's not necessarily like an age thing, because this person could be 50 something and they're still just don't like to really bother themselves with, you know what, this feels like somebody who has fried their dopamine receptors and it's just so difficult for them to feel satisfaction from completing a task. And I think this might be somebody who is insecure and probably enviously takes out some sort of frustration for not, I don't know, not being able to dedicate enough time to really get good at something. Or, yeah. I think this person can come off a little wild or unstable at times. Just sort of like they have a bit of power and it sort of is misfiring sometimes, and so therefore it can be kind of chaotic or even random. Like, that's why I keep coming back to the ADHD thing, because you just sort of get this like random bursts of working on something, you know, which isn't, it's not necessarily a problem if you are like really good and consistent about always working on the project when you do get that burst of inspiration. But for some reason, I just feel like this person just wants to sit and ponder it rather than really chase after it. And the High Priestess, I just feel like I'm gonna say fully, I don't think you could trust this person. I think more than likely, whether this person really wants to or not, or is planning to or not, will just be a hidden enemy for you, just because they have these issues that they don't want to deal with, you know? Like, I don't know. It's giving me like, I take medication for like, I take medication that I don't really need, but I just like it because it turns my feelings off, and therefore I can pretend like I'm on a spiritual journey and I've done all this work and growth and whatever, and yet really they're just sort of like masking. And somehow, honestly, like the medicine thing makes so much sense, because that of course is going to disconnect you from the fire in your heart, from your soul, from you know, closing that gap between epiphany, inspiration, creative idea to actually completing the project and getting the dopamine hit. So yeah, when it comes to collaborating with this person, or even like sharing your success with this person, they don't seem like the good kind of friend who would be really happy at the news of your success or wanting to celebrate with you. Like, they will just be kind of, you know, quietly evil eyeing you, like really envious and bitter. Like, maybe this person tends to have sort of like a sob story of why they aren't doing anything, and like weirdly attached to a spiritual aesthetic. And I really do feel like it's more of an aesthetic rather than a true journey where you are understanding yourself and healing certain lessons that you were born to live through. This person hasn't even really committed to what path they want to take or what goals they have. And yeah, so thank you for sticking with me through this message, because it was kind of difficult to get out. But please make sure you like the video and subscribe and comment down below if this resonated, or if you have any video suggestions or questions. And if you'd like a personal reading, you can email me. That information's all in the description down below. So I will see y'all next week. Thank you. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. I'm going to start by pulling some runes, and then we will flip over these cards I have laid out and give you your reading. So, Are these people or this person worthy of trust from pile 3? Can pile 3 trust this person or these people? Okay, first rune we have Soelo, Urus, and Tursas. Well, I feel like these people are probably intimidating just based off of these runes, but let's flip over some cards. Well, this is very funny. I forgot that this El Goliath tarot deck has yes and no cards in it, and you got the card that says no reversed. Now, we could interpret that as saying, yes, you can trust this person. However, I always like to read a no reversed as bad boundaries, or spirit saying that you need to say no, or you're not saying no. So then we have Shadow card reversed and the 6 of Wands upright. So let's see. Maybe you just perceive this person as having bad boundaries, but I mean, people set their boundaries how it suits them. It's not necessarily always a one size fits all kind of thing. The boundary is wherever you're comfortable with. And, you know, if you ever experience the emotion of anger, that means a boundary was violated. So maybe certain things just don't make this person angry that would normally make you angry. Like, because I just feel like, I don't know, I think there's something attractive about this person. Maybe you find that intimidating, or maybe it feels like people are always kind of buzzing about them, or yeah, like maybe they're just really attractive to people. All right, so then we have Page of Swords reversed, Judgment, and Strength reversed. This person could be naive. Ooh, yeah, I'm getting that very heavily. There's so much sun energy, though. There's so much like warm energy, and the sun card it's youthful. It's like your inner child. And maybe this person literally could be young. I also feel like maybe this person could be feminine, like a female, or have feminine energy. And even if that doesn't apply, just somebody who's young or maybe a little immature, like in the sense that they are naive. And so maybe you're like, can I trust this person? Because you're like noticing that they aren't putting boundaries down where you think that they should. So maybe in a way you're judging this person a little bit. Maybe you are judging this person's judgment, like how they judge a situation and make a decision. Like maybe this person's prefrontal cortex is not fully developed yet, like 25 and below. And so I don't know, maybe you're just like being kind of extra harsh or cautious of this person. It could also just seem like with all this sunshine energy, you're sort of skeptical of like, well, where's their shadow? And so maybe it makes you feel uncertain because it seems like this person is just kind of radiating positivity and everyone is kind of likes them or favors them, or they tend to be successful at their endeavors, but maybe you still sort of perceive them as being weak-willed. So maybe this person is a little bit weak-willed or naive, or just, like I said, an undeveloped prefrontal cortex where they just aren't making smart decisions, or they're like falling for the oldest trick in the book is what I heard. Like maybe you think it's kind of easy to lie to or manipulate this person. Or actually, no, what I see very clearly, I think that this just feels like a lot of you projecting onto this person. I'm sorry to put it so bluntly. Like, I think that this person is judged as this naive, incompetent, whatever, easy to manipulate type person, or like they've never struggled. Like, there's something about, like, you are too happy or you are too optimistic, and therefore it makes me skeptical whether I should trust you or not. You're not as, like, skeptical and contrarian and paranoid as me, and you should be, like, and almost like, yeah, like, where's your shadow? Why have you not been hurt before? And, like, I really hope that there isn't a part of you that is, like, wanting to teach this person a lesson in, like, a mean way. Because I feel like, honestly, this person has dealt with the bullshit before, but they are just choosing to be happy and continue on. I feel like this person has actually got a few achievements under their belt already, and there's still just a lot of optimism because they know that they've got their whole life ahead of them. And, like, even if this person in particular isn't young, they have a very young, jovial spirit about them. So honestly, it could even be like, maybe you think that this is like a stupid old boomer or something who's out of touch, and I don't know, like, incompetent in some way, because, like, they shouldn't be that happy, or shouldn't be that resilient, and, like, maybe you should be thinking about retirement or whatever. I don't know what the projection is specifically, but, like, this person is never stopping growing. They're never going to stop educating themselves. They're never going to stop trying to get better. And yeah, I honestly think that this is a pretty fair individual. I think they're pretty fair. I don't think this is a person who would hurt you when they don't need to. I unfortunately, I mean, I think maybe the reason why you're not trusting this person so much, or maybe even kind of looking down on them a little bit, is because you think that they, like, forgive people too easily. And it's not like they're having, you know, the wool pulled over their eyes. They see what's happening. But I think there is, like, this denial of, I'm not going to let myself get down in the dumps about it. I'm not going to take this personally and internalize it. Like, there's something fundamentally wrong with me because somebody else lied to me, you know? I don't know. I think maybe you need to be a little bit more patient and observant. And maybe you are the kind of person who tends to internalize things. I really just feel like this person has a light heart, that they don't really suffer from guilt very much. So, I mean, if the person you're asking about doesn't have this super light, optimistic, jovial, inner child type energy, this pile probably isn't for you. But if you have noticed yourself maybe judging someone a little bit, maybe having a bit of vicarious anxiety watching them navigate their life, it seems to me like you are the one who actually needs to be doing some shadow work and some self-inquiry, of like why you are so bothered by somebody else living their life, and maybe stop assuming that you know everything about somebody. I mean, obviously you got this reading because you wanted more insight, but I don't know, something about this just feels like mean-spirited, and I mean mean-spirited from whoever this reading is meant to resonate with, resonate for. I feel like you just need to leave this person alone. Just stop worrying about it. This person is not going to screw you over in any way. But maybe you need to communicate. You know, that's one thing I see maybe they have a little bit of trouble with communication, or communicating clearly. I don't know. It just seems sort of like innocence to me, though. They're a little innocent, maybe a little young, or they just really know how to move on. But I just wouldn't play this person for a fool, because they're really not as dumb as they might seem on the surface. So this was a pretty short, concise message and reading. I hope that it was of a help to you, useful. Sorry, it was a little bit of bitter truth, bitter medicine there towards the end, but you don't click on this channel for me to lie to you and blow hot air up your ass. So with that, make sure you like the video, subscribe for more, leave a comment down below however you feel about this reading, any suggestions or questions you have, and I'll be happy to answer it for you. Share this video with anyone you think who needs to hear this message, and I will see y'all next week. Thank you. Bye.